Hello?
Vic McPherson.
Hi, Vic. It's Claire. So, how are things going in Los Angeles?
Hey, Claire. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm making any headway. I'm having a hard time establishing a link between all these killings.
You're obsessing over this. If you hadn't quit, you wouldn't be trying to put the pieces together all alone.
Don't start, Claire. I know you don't approve of my decision to leave the FBI. But working for an asshole like Browning? No, thank you.
Browning won't be here forever, you know. His decision to close the investigation after the mass killer's death wasn't welcomed by everyone in the Chicago Bureau.
I don't need to remind you that there's absolutely nothing to prove that the fucker's really dead. He fell in the water when I shot him. I know I hit him. As far as I've heard, his body was not found.
No, you're right about that. Of course you've got doubts. The water flowing under the Tomanova Bridge is ice cold. If your bullet didn't kill him, cold water would have finished him off.
I'd love to be so sure. When I think of all the men he victimized.
Have you found any information on the first killer? The one who the Chicago murderer was supposedly copycatting? His name was Ackerman, I think?
Yeah, Mark Ackerman, son of Governor Herbert Ackerman. He was locked up in an asylum at the beginning of the 30s after 2 strings of murders. He was never officially found guilty. His father had him hospitalized to avoid the scandal, with the FBI's full cooperation. Corruption never goes out of style. Makes me sick.
And the retired inspector, Harrison, the one you wanted to see in California. Did you meet with him?
Yeah, he gave me the whole case file for the 1956 investigation. He's convinced that Mark Ackerman is behind this series of murders in Los Angeles.
Really? A killer who murders women over several decades, then a copycat who starts it all over again 50 years later? That's terrifying.
Yeah, but this case is personal, too. My grandfather got himself in blood. He lost more than just his illusions. Can't assist me. I want to find the truth for his sake, no matter what it costs me.
I hope you'll find what you're looking for, Vic. If I can help you in any way.
I hope Richard's not harassing me. He's left several messages on my answering machine.
He just called me to ask about Mia. He feels responsible for letting her go. And the killer is opening.
I know, he's taking it hard. There's nothing to say that the killer wouldn't have taken him out to get his hands on Mia.
Anyway, he misses you, that's for sure. He's looking forward to you coming back.
Do you have any news on Mia, the killer's latest victim? Is she still in the hospital?
She's doing better. She's come out of shock. The doctors are optimistic. She should be able to go home soon. I went by to see her yesterday. She's going to leave Chicago. Too many bad memories.
What's new at the FBI? Miller's still having stomach trouble?
Uh-huh. He got sick at the New Year's potluck. Some joker put Tabasco in his salmon canapes. We haven't seen Browning much lately. He's distanced himself from the Bureau since your resignation. It doesn't change much anyway. He was never exactly close to his agents.
Yeah, you can say that again. The only place for an ice cube like that is in a glass of whiskey. Where's the investigation at? Is anyone working on it since Browning cut the funding?
Officially, the killer is considered dead, so Browning closed the case. He seemed rather in a hurry to put that one to bed.
Obviously. There were some pretty well-placed people who used to frequent some of the girls who were killed. Browning's one of them. I wonder what he had to give up to bury the scandal. And I think that I used to work under him. Ugh, makes me sick. I have one last favor to ask, Claire. A big one. I need access to the FBI's database.
For your research, huh? Wow, I'm playing fast and loose with the rules a lot lately.
I don't want to get you into trouble.
Don't worry about me. The access code was changed a few days ago. I'll check it out and text you, okay?
Thanks, Claire. I'll let you go now. Talk to you soon. Well, let's try to review the clues we've got. I'll record my notes onto my smartphone while we go through them. A newspaper clipping dated March 22nd, 1956. The article talks about a fire in the hospital where Mark Ackerman was committed.
Press clipping dated March 22nd, 1956. This clipping was cut by Harrison. A Los Angeles Times article. On the day of March 21st, a fire broke out at the Bromden Institute, a private clinic housing a psychiatric asylum, resulting in the death of 10 people. One of the institution's doctors, the famous Dr. Kelly, see photo next page, lost his life in the fire. Also among the victims was Mark Ackerman, the son of the governor of California, Herbert Ackerman. Committed for over 20 years, Mark Ackerman was one of Dr. Kelly's patients. The police strongly suspect him of being responsible for the disaster. The alarm was sounded by a nurse as she was returning from lunch. If I hadn't gone out to eat with my son Henry, I might have died too. The article adds that the nurse knew the presumed arsonist well, as she had been Dr. Kelly's assistant for many years. Prior to being transferred to another department, she did not contradict the police's suspicions.
This nurse, she could certainly be linked to Ackerman. I've got to find out more info about her. A newspaper clipping dated March 22nd, 1956. The Los Angeles murders file. Harrison gave it to me. His conclusions differ from the official version.
Okay, the summary of the LA murders case. File compiled by Michael Harrison, LAPD inspector. Between December 1955 and March 1956, 5 prostitutes were found dead on Los Angeles side streets. They had each been stabbed and disemboweled. Their bodies have been mutilated and their hands or feet have been severed. The murders took place without witnesses and not a single revealing clue was found at the crime scenes. The press nicknamed the killer the Los Angeles Ripper and harshly criticized the incompetence of the police. The officer in charge of the investigation, Inspector Harrison, was under great pressure to apprehend the perpetrator quickly. On March 19, 1956, a suspect was finally arrested, 27-year-old Harold Perrin. Perrin was a former patient of the Bromden Institute, a psychiatric hospital. According to the experts appointed by police, he presented numerous symptoms of mental illness. He had nevertheless been released from the institute 2 years earlier, his mental state having been judged as satisfactory by the doctors. Harrison believed that Harold Perrin had acted under the influence of another man, Mark Ackerman, a psychologically unstable painter. His superiors did not support this theory. Ackerman himself died in a fire 2 days after Perrin's arrest. See newspaper article dated March 22, 1956. In the course of his investigation on the Los Angeles Ripper, Harrison had begun to suspect Ackerman. Noting similarities to old cases, Harrison contacted Gustav McPherson, a former private detective who had worked on one of these cases. McPherson sent him a very disturbing document, the confessions of Herbert Ackerman, governor of California, and Mark Ackerman's father. In these confessions, Herbert Ackerman confirmed that his son was responsible for 2 series of murders. The first in Prague in 1929 and then in Chicago in 1931. Ackerman, confined since 1932 in the Bromden Institute, contained his criminal instincts for more than 20 years thanks to the care of Dr. Edward Kelly, but his true nature would end up getting the better of him. Not being able to leave the institution, Ackerman chose a proxy to commit murders for him. After having gone to the institution several times to question Ackerman, Harrison discovered that the painter received frequent visits from Harold Perrin, a seemingly harmless young man who had spent 3 years at the clinic for minor mental disturbances. In the wake of Harold Perrin's arrest on March 19th, an announcement was made to the press. Perrin was presented as the main suspect in the case. Perrin collapsed on the evening of March 21st when he heard of Mark Ackerman's death. He confessed to the crimes but did not incriminate his presumed mentor. No official charges were ever filed against Ackerman, although Harrison remained convinced of his role in the murders. Following Perrin's arrest and the death of Ackerman, the murders ceased. Harrison saw the paintings made by Ackerman prior to his confinement, paintings which, according to his hypothesis, were the motivation for his murders. He described them as sick and alarming, but embodying incredible force. This was not true of the paintings done by Ackerman during his long stay at the clinic. Harrison was convinced that he hadn't seen all of Ackerman's paintings, particularly one, which he supposedly painted right before his death.
Sarkovic. I know that name. Where have I heard it before? A newspaper article dated March 19th, 1956. It recounts the arrest of a suspect in the LA murders.
Okay. The LA Tribune article recounts the arrest of Harold Perrin, who could be the Los Angeles Ripper, the author of 5 murders which had taken place in the previous months. The victims were all young prostitutes. They had been horribly mutilated. Inspector Michael Harrison was the arresting officer. He had tailed Perrin and surprised him as he was spying on another young prostitute. Harold Perrin is at this hour being questioned by Inspector Harrison, who will later hold a press conference to inform the citizens of any progress in the investigation. To finish the article, the journalist makes a comparison with Elizabeth Ann Short's death 9 years earlier. The crimes of the Los Angeles Ripper equal in savagery the murder of the Black Dahlia. Is there a link between these 2 cases? And that's supposed to be him.
I doubt there's a connection between the 2 cases. Another idiot journalist greedy for a story. A brochure of the Ackerman exhibit organized by Richard. There are reproductions of paintings as well as some interesting information.
The Valdez Gallery of Chicago has the honor of presenting an exhibit devoted to the works of Mark Ackerman to the public for the first time. An American painter who lived in the first half of the 20th century, Ackerman had numerous sojourns in Europe prior to settling in Los Angeles. The exhibit traces the different periods of the artist's turbulent life. Let yourself be carried away by the raw emotion that emanates from Mark Ackerman's paintings. The landscapes and portraits skillfully mix dream and reality, the conscious and the unconscious, serenity and anxiety. The passion and creative force of this incredible yet unknown artist will move you deeply. The Valdez Gallery wishes to thank Gerald Gerald Carter. I could not speak. Fine arts director at Chicago University, and the instigator of this exhibit. The funds necessary for the acquisition of the works were raised with the support of the Labyrinth Foundation.
The Labyrinth Foundation. That's the second time I come across them while I'm investigating. I think they have a website. The women represented in these paintings are Ackerman's victims. The women represented in these paintings are Ackerman's victims. The killer lost his mask before falling in the river. According to what Claire's told me, the lab analyzed it but didn't find anything. The battery's dying. I better plug it in. The battery's dying. I better plug it in.
Hi, Vic. It's Richard. I miss you. I'm looking forward to you coming back to Chicago. Love you, sweetheart. It's Richard. I hope everything's going well in L.A. Hi, Vic. It's Richard. It's Richard. I hope everything's going well in L.A. I was sad to spend New Year's Eve without you. Call me back soon.
Okay, what else do I have to do? Because I've sworn that I could have sworn that I read everything. Guess I'll double check. Doesn't hurt.
The Los Angeles murders file. A newspaper clipping, dated March 22nd, 1956. A newspaper article, dated March 19th, 1956. A brochure of the Ackerman exhibit organized by Richard.
Can't click on those ones. Okay, these are the same ones, so that's not going to help me.
The women represented in these paintings are Ackerman's victims.
I'm pretty sure that's all it says here.
The killer lost his mask before falling in the river. According to what Claire's told me, the lab analyzed it but didn't find anything. The battery's dying. I better plug it in. Power outlet. A power outlet.
Okay, I see that, but how do I get her stuff in?
Herbert Ackerman, an art lover? And this Beatrice Allen? I must find out more about her.
Beatrice Allen, founder and president of the Labyrinth Foundation, was born in 1912 in San Diego. Her father was a doctor and her mother a musician. From her mother, she inherited her taste and respect for the arts, a passion that would remain with her for the rest of her life. After studying nursing, she worked at various public hospitals before finding a position at the Bromden Institute, a private clinic treating the mentally ill. She stayed there for more than 20 years, distinguishing herself through her professionalism and her empathy towards patients. Upon becoming assistant to the clinic's lead doctor, she launched new care programs involving the arts. In 1956, Beatrice Allen left the clinic to devote herself fully to art. In 1958, she was made the main beneficiary of Governor Ackerman's estate. She invested a large part of the inheritance in the arts and a few years later created the Labyrinth Foundation, which she ran until her death. Beatrice Allen had a son, with whom she did not get along. In 1985, he was killed in a car accident. Beatrice became the guardian of her grandson, who was her greatest happiness during the last years of her life. Beatrice Allen died in New York in 2002. Her immense art collection is managed by her foundation. She was pretty.
Beatrice Allen is the woman painted by Ackerman on one of his paintings. I'm sure of that. I need more info. Her son may be another interesting lead to follow, but I'd need his full name.
Okay, Herbert Ackerman, born in Chicago to a wealthy and politically engaged family. Herbert Clark Ackerman displayed leadership qualities at an early age. An only child, he lost his parents at the age of 12. He went to live with his uncle in Oregon. He was employed in his uncle's company and sent to Stanford University to pursue a degree in engineering. In 1905, he married the daughter of a San Francisco banker. A year later, his son Mark was born. Unfortunately, his wife was killed during the earthquake that devastated San Francisco. He remarried 9 years later to a young French woman. Working abroad frequently, he was in England when the First World War broke out. Gradually, he abandoned his engineering work for a diplomatic career. For more than a decade, he held serious diplomatic posts, taking his son with him to various countries in Europe and Asia. At the end of 1929, he returned to the United States and lived for a time in Chicago. 3 years later, he moved to Los Angeles, where he finally settled. It was in California that his political career really took off. He was elected governor of California in 1949 and re-elected in 1953. He died of cancer in Los Angeles a year after the end of his second term. He looks real friendly. But, I know, can't judge a book by its cover, but Emily Sarkovic, Hungarian painter born in 1862, died in 1904. A discreet figure, Sarkovic was also known in artistic circles as a fine pianist. Pale and gaunt, he was nicknamed the white-fingered pianist by Frank Liszt. A member of the Hungarian symbolist school, Sarkovic preferred dark subjects. The painting, Death in the Young Girl, is considered his masterpiece.
That painter's been dead a long time. The journalist must have given a false name.
And last, Mark Ackerman. The event, an exclusive exhibit at the gallery. The Valdez Gallery in Chicago is presenting Mark Ackerman's work to the public for the first time. Mark Ackerman is an American painter little known to the general public, yet his paintings are remarkable in every way. Rich and troubling, they'll illustrate the complexity of the relationship between art and the artist. The painting reproduced on the next page is entitled Bridge Over Troubled Water. It was painted in 1929. Excerpt from the exhibition catalog. The woman in the foreground is clearly very disturbed. She stares directly at us but does not seem to be aware of the agitation that surrounds her. The sky, usually a symbol of freedom and openness, is here tumultuous and oppressive, casting a sinister light on the landscape. The Ackerman exhibit can be viewed at the Valdez Gallery until January 31st.
The file was destroyed in the 30s because of the deal the FBI made with Herbert Ackerman. Just think, it was the era of the untouchables. Son named Richard. Shit, that can't be true. This can't be a coincidence.
I'm not here at the moment, but you can leave a message.
Jesus Christ, Richard. If you're that nurse's grandson, why didn't you ever tell me? I have to get back to Chicago right away and get to the bottom of this.
Okay, that noise is annoying. I need it to stop. Pick up your phone, girl.
Hello?
Vic, it's me. Is this a bad time?
Claire. I fell asleep in front of the TV. What time is it?
Almost 10 p.m. Sorry to wake you. Do you want me to call you back tomorrow?
No. I was having a nightmare anyway. As soon as I fall asleep, I relive the same old stories.
Still having nightmares about the Chicago killer? Vic, you have to stop thinking about all that. It happened almost 4 years ago.
Tell that to my subconscious. Were you calling me about the case?
I have the results of Ellen Dunnigan's preliminary autopsy.
Let me guess. The killer left no trace.
Absolutely nothing. The body was carefully cleaned of any clue that could have led us to the killer. The modus operandi seems identical to the other victims. Various wounds meant to inflict pain, then a bullet wound causing death.
Good Lord. It's been going on for almost 3 years and this asshole still hasn't made a single mistake.
Are you going to be in Maine for a while?
I still have to question a few possible witnesses. Garrus wants this by the book, but I doubt it'll turn up anything.
Oh, yes, your new partner. Fresh out of Quantico.
I gotta go, Claire. Hernandez is up to her old tricks on the news again.
Okay. I'll call you if I have anything new. Take care of yourself.
The horribly tortured body of Ellen Dunnigan was found this morning. The body was discovered on the side of Route 201, less than a mile outside of the small town of Jackman, Maine. The young woman, a Holton native, had disappeared on September 22nd. The modus operandi removes any ambiguity over the killer's identity. This is without a doubt the latest chapter in the heinous rampage of the East Coast Killer. As with the previous murders, the killer filmed the suffering which he inflicted on his victim. He then sent DVDs of the footage to the authorities and the media. The FBI has refused any comment in the wake of this new crime. Special Agent McPherson, who has been on the case from the beginning, seems completely incapable of making any headway whatsoever in this case. How many innocent victims will have to die before the killer is stopped? It's a legitimate question, given the investigators' utter lack of results.
Ouch.
This is Paloma Hernandez for 5TV.
So, just like that, I'm completely overwhelmed? What a bitch.
that sound again.
McPherson.
Stuff
This
of
is
nightmares.
Paloma Hernandez. Do you remember me, Agent McPherson?
Unfortunately, yes. I just saw your mug on TV. One doesn't forget that kind of trauma.
Very funny. Listen, I know you don't like my work, but I don't have anything against you personally. I also have people to answer to, and the competition is fierce.
Oh, you're breaking my heart, Hernandez. Switch careers. The FBI is hiring.
I'm not calling to apologize. I have a proposal for you. Can you meet me at the Bishop Motel in Jackman for a chat?
Right. You want me to join your TV games. I'm afraid I'm going to have to decline your offer.
I'm in touch with an informant. He has discovered certain information about the killer. I'm ready to divulge it if you agree to give me exclusive access to the FBI investigation. That way, we'd be working together instead of being at loggerheads. What do you say?
Are you serious? You've been making my life hell since this case started, but now you want us to be best friends forever because suddenly it suits your purposes?
If you've got information on the killer, then give it to me. No conditions.
If you conceal evidence or hinder our investigation in any way, I can guarantee you a stint in the slammer. Night, Hernandez.
Ooh, tell it, girl.
I hate being hung up on.
Vic McPherson, please leave a message after the beep. End of recording. To hear your message again, please press pound.
The star of my next film is finally awake. Welcome to my humble abode, Miss Hernandez.
You must feel a little lost. Don't worry. I'm going to take good care
don't know what you intend to do. Maybe we can make a deal?
I doubt that. I want to do away with those who are tracking me. Their interference doesn't amuse me anymore. You are one of those people, Hernandez. You're the one who dubbed me the East Coast Killer. It's time you understand what really lies behind those meaningless words.
Please. I'm begging you. Let me go. I won't tell anyone what's happened.
You're right about that hot stuff. I went to a lot of trouble to get you here, and now you'd like me to give up all my lovely plans? You know me well enough to know that I take everything to its proper finish, and sometimes even a little beyond that. Do you recognize this place? This is where the actresses immortalized in my videos made their debuts and bid their adieus. I love this room. It holds so many delicious memories. Well, for me at least. I know who your informant is. The former FBI agent, James Hawker. He's going to die, just like you. Of course, I'll be much quicker with him. He doesn't have your charm. I have to leave you for the moment. I have a few things to arrange to take care of your friend Hawker. See you very soon, gorgeous.
Don't panic. I have to get out of here or find a way to call for help. The collar is locked around my neck. It's impossible to remove it. It's not turning on. Looks like there's no power. The darn collar shocks me when I try to go through the entryway. This sicko's put up cameras everywhere. This cable is connected to an electrical outlet and won't come out. I've got to pull it out. This entryway's not just here for decoration.
There's a plate screwed onto the entryway. It's screwed shut. A circuit board. Seems to be working. For now. If I go through the entryway to reach the switch, I'll get electrocuted by the collar. There's a lock. There's something in the stove. A half-burnt flyer. It's an ad for a Holton hardware store. It looks like an old wedding dress. I'd rather not know what it's doing here. This looks really solid, and I can't pry these boards off barehanded. This looks really solid, and I can't pry these boards off barehanded. It's high, but I should be able to get out through there. It's high, but I should be able to get out through there. Locked. That's my phone on the front seat. I have to get it. It's locked. This piece of wood looks like a railway tie. It's marked with the letters B-A-R. It's not opening. No key in the ignition. That'd be too easy. At least I have my phone. Damn, the battery's dead. Receipts issued by a gas station in St. George, Quebec? My purse. Empty, of course. My purse. Empty, of course. My purse. Empty, of course. An electrical outlet? It seems to be working. An electrical outlet? It seems to be working. Bad idea. An electrical outlet? It seems to be working. Bad idea. It'll never work. An electrical outlet? It seems to be working. Bad idea. It'll never work. Answer, McPherson. Good God, answer.
McPherson here.
Help! Help me! The killers abducted me.
Is that you, Hernandez? Calm down. Take a deep breath. Where are you?
I've no idea. He's locked me up in an old house somewhere deep in the woods. He's going to kill me. He said he was after you too, McPherson. And Hawker.
But what about you? Are you okay? Are you hurt?
Oh my God. I can hear him. He's coming back. What do I do?
Hernandez, give me some clues about the place you're being held.
The house is surrounded by woods.
There are plenty of forests on the East Coast. Don't you have anything more specific?
I found an old burnt flyer for a store in Holton.
Holton. That's the Aroostook County capital. Anything else?
I saw some letters on a railway tie, the initials B.A.R.
Those initials must refer to a railroad company. That's an excellent clue. Try to give me some clues. The more precise you are, the quicker we'll be able to find you.
Let me think. There's a car outside?
Hello? What's going on? Hello? Hernandez?
All right, Garrus, what we got?
Tire tracks have been found nearby. They're being tested. The juiciest clue is the message on the answering machine. The door to the room wasn't forced, unlike the bathroom door.
There's something different this time around. The killer went after Hernandez. She's connected to the case. It's not a coincidence.
Here's the report you requested. It summarizes the main points of the investigation as well as the psychological profile you established.
Thanks, Garrus. All right, let's get to work. We have to gather as many clues as possible. A brochure of the Bishop Motel, famous for its tranquility. They're gonna have to find a new claim to fame. There was coffee spilled on the carpet. There's a clear footprint. I don't have the necessary supplies to collect a sample.
I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson.
I think this creep has it in for me personally. But why? All I want is to see him locked up for the rest of his days. A brochure of the Bishop Motel, famous for its tranquility. They're gonna have to find a new claim to fame. The safe is empty.
At your service, Agent McPherson. Do you need anything? The killer is really an exceptional criminal. He's so methodical.
This asshole needs to be in complete control. That's his trip. He's taking a real risk filming his murders. He knows that if he makes even the smallest mistake, we'll use it to find him.
I've done a superficial search of the area. The killer used chemical products to clean up the room, but he made sure to leave some clues, to amuse himself. You can go ahead now with the investigation, Agent McPherson. Here's the CSIA kit.
The what?
It's the new field kit, designed by our labs to do all kinds of scientific testing right at the crime scenes.
Claire would be so jealous if she saw this thing.
I've already entered everything related to Paloma Hernandez in the database to compare it with the samples.
This can't possibly work.
I must take a sample of this clue.
It's not this. It's not this. It's not this. Bad idea.
I need an instrument from the testing kit.
This can't possibly work. It's not this. It'll never work.
Hi, Paloma. It's Simmons. You know, your news director, the one who's still waiting for you to call him back. Where are we at with this big scoop of yours? I have a schedule to fill, you know.
Aw, his concern is touching.
I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson. I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson.
Hi, Paloma. It's Simmons. You know, your news director, the one who's still waiting for you to call him back. Where are we at with this big scoop of yours? I have a schedule to...
I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson.
Hi, Paloma. It's Simmons. You know, your news director, the one who's still waiting for you to call him back. Where are we at with this big scoop of yours? I have a schedule to fill, you know.
I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson.
Hi.
I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson. I've kept you a place in my cold room, McPherson.
This remote control fell under the bed. There might be intact prints on it. I need an instrument from the testing kit. This remote control fell under the bed. There might be intact prints on it. I think the laptop's busted, but maybe there's a way to recover some of the files from the hard drive. I must take a sample of this clue. This suitcase is locked. There's a funny smell near the ventilation system. There's detergent residue here. Bloodstain. There's not much. It probably comes from a superficial wound. I must take a sample of this clue. There's a mark on the door. Bullet hole, probably. A bullet hole. The bullet's been removed. A camcorder. Probably Hernandez's. It's empty. A camcorder. Probably Hernandez's. It's empty.
At your service, Agent McPherson. Do you need anything?
You know anything about lockpicking, Garrus?
Not really. I'm more of an electronics guy. But I do happen to have an electric pick gun. Here.
A camcorder. Probably Hernandez's. It's empty.
Tell us your theory. It's quite different from the leads the FBI are currently chasing.
The East Coast killer doesn't act on sudden impulse, which is what the case profiler contends. I've discovered the basis on which he chooses his victims. Criteria linked to one of his obsessions.
James Hawker. He hasn't given up on the case.
Isn't that your old partner?
Find Hawker for me, Garrus, and get me his file. There's a mark on the door. Bullet hole, probably. These look like clothing fibers. I need an instrument from the testing kit.
At your service, Agent McPherson. Do you need anything? James Hawker. Wasn't he dismissed from the FBI for having shot a witness?
It was a suspect. It's a fine line between the two sometimes. Whichever it was, Hawker lost his head and killed a man who did not present an immediate threat. It's inexcusable.
Is that why you refused to take a new partner into the field for almost 2 years? I would have probably done the same thing in your place.
You're too curious, Garrus. Focus your brain cells on what happened in this room. Well, let the search continue. Time's not on our side. McPherson here.
Help! Help me! The killers abducted me!
Hernandez, where are you? Are you okay?
Oh, my head is spinning. I feel strange. My phone. Must be McPherson. She must be trying to locate me. Careful. There's glass everywhere. McPherson? Have you located me? Have you figured out where this miserable house is?
In a quiet place. Don't worry, we won't be disturbed.
You won't get away with this. I've warned McPherson. The FBI and the police will soon be here. They know exactly where I am.
The funniest thing is that you seem to believe what you're saying. I have a deal for you. If you manage to get out of here, I'll consider setting you free. I've prepared a few surprises for you on your path to freedom. Just to spice things up a little.
Please, let me go.
Come on, pull yourself together. Oh, one last thing. While you were unconscious, I injected you with a little dose of poison. You should already be feeling the symptoms. Vertigo, weakness, nausea, and death. Eventually. You better start looking for the antidote. And don't forget, the collar enables me to bring you back to reason. Good luck, gorgeous.
Locked. These inscriptions, are they here to help me or scare me? The photo of a movie star? Maybe to remind me that now I'm starring in a movie too, with a complete psychopath directing. It's too high for me to open it. Four vials filled with liquid. It says which one on the base. The label indicates that this bottle contains a chemical reactant. To separate the true from the false? What does that mean? I'm feeling better.
Congratulations. You have won the right to remain alive. For now.
It's too far. It's too far. If I walk on these shards, I'm going to cut myself really badly. It's locked. A memory card. I can read its contents on my voice recorder. It looks like a fuse box. The cable goes through the wall.
Today, January 13th, the lifeless body of Dolores Wilkins was found by local police by the side of a lake. The discovery of the body confirms the authenticity of the video clips which were broadcast last week. We know now that the so-called East Coast Killer is no hoax.
It's the audio from a report I did on the East Coast Killer.
A new victim of the East Coast Killer has been discovered. I have with me now one of the agents in charge of the case, James Hawker.
The investigation is proceeding as planned. No comment.
This is Paloma Hernandez, reporting live from Jackman, Maine. Agent McPherson, have you found any clues?
No comment. Get lost.
It looks like a fuse box. The cable goes through the wall. This tap seems to be working. A severed hand! Oh my god! Ugh, it's stuck. I need something to pry it open. There's no way I'm sticking my hand in this rat-infested hole. Oh God. This hand must have belonged to one of his previous victims. It's horrible.
Bravo! You've managed to get out. The plot continues to unfold. Once again, you must simply open the door. But first, you must figure out which one. I hope you appreciate my little theater of horrors. It reflects the trajectory that our oh-so-civilized society has chosen to deal with those it deems criminal. First the prison, then the execution chamber, which leads to deliverance.
Let me go. I'm begging you.
But you can go. It's just a matter of figuring out how to accomplish it. Prove to me that you're more than just a pretty face. Come on, lovely Paloma. Show me what you're made of. Now, let's see if you're going to find the chair comfortable enough for you.
An electric chair on rails. How convenient. This fuse box controls the flow of the electricity passing through the electric chair. It's off. Dora and the number 216. Olivia and the number 60. Joyce, number 33. Janet, 108. That's my first name. And the number 129. Dolores and the number 71. This fuse box controls the flow of the electricity passing through the electric chair. It's off. This fuse box controls the flow of the electricity passing through the electric chair. It's off. I hear an electric buzzing coming from this cupboard. This fuse box may be linked to the electrical cupboard in the other room. Locate me. A bulb half unscrewed, but it works. This tap seems to be working. These inscriptions, are they here to help me or scare me? I've got to get the clasp open on this goddamn collar. I've got to get the clasp open on this goddamn collar.
Welcome to the morgue. The bodies of the condemned are brought here after their execution. That's the protocol. We mustn't deviate from it. The door in the back will lead you to freedom, but to go through it, you must open it first. I know what you're thinking. Another door. Don't think that I lack imagination. I just adore the comedy of repetition. I tried to be as authentic as possible when I created this room, but I'm not a coroner. I hope you'll forgive any blunders.
I have money. I can pay you a ransom if you let me out of here.
Come now, don't be vulgar. Money doesn't interest me. It's a dead thing. I prefer what's alive. I prefer that which can die. I'm watching you. Are you going to get the message?
I don't see how this shirt could be useful to me. There's a lock. A butcher's sign? What a sense of humor. I'd rather not imagine what might have happened on this table. There's a lock. This tap seems to be working. 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 Bad idea. It'll never work. This tap seems to be working. It's not this. It'll never work. This can't possibly work. Locked. It looks like a countdown clock. It's off.
All this is just a little too easy. I'm going to make the game a little more interesting. You have a few minutes to figure out how to open the door at the back. If you take too long, poison gas will be released. Hurry up. Time flies.
It's a mannequin. There's a tag attached to its feet. The name Hawker is written on this label, and the letter H is underlined. A label with my name. The first E in Hernandez is underlined. There's a name on the label, McPherson. The letter P is underlined.
Well to get rid of the collar. I would have killed you. I'll give you a little breather. I have to prepare the next scene.
It's too dark. I can't see anything in there. It's too dark. I can't see anything in there.
There's a lot of up and down in this part.
It's not this. I have to unscrew the fuse box. It's barricaded. It's impossible to go through here. A newspaper with an article on the killer. I doubt I'll find out anything new. Locked. This can't possibly work.
it's been 2 hours and I want to get this video out to you guys. I'm going to be continue playing, but this will be for another part. Thank you for joining me. I'm enjoying it so far and being able to play the victim too, as far as in the game. It's enjoyable. It's different from the first one as far as, I don't know, just, you see. Sorry, yawn. Okay. Well, thank you for watching and have a great day.